Howdy folks, and this episode of Star Wars Lore is on the TIE Advanced X1. Now, the development of the TIE Advanced X1 was driven by two factors. Firstly, the early successes of Rebel Alliance fighter tactics, and secondly, the personal requirements of Lord Darth Vader. Taking as their starting point the basic design tenets of the TIE Fighter, paired twin ion engines, solar panelled wings and twin laser cannons, Vader and CNR fleet systems created the TIE Advanced X1. The short run of prototype craft were to be the vanguard of future TIE developments, including the TIE Interceptor and the TIE Avenger. Thanks to its unique space frame, the prototype TIE Advanced X1 was easily recognizable. The bent wing configuration, complete with reinforced wing braces, meant that the surface area of the solar panels was presented to energy sources at a far wider range of flight altitudes, but it also gave the fighter a smaller combat silhouette than a TIE fighter. The reinforced central hull included a new back plate that swept out between the wings from behind the spherical cockpit and carried the additional technology that didn't fit in a standard TIE. The TIE Advanced X1 immediately won favour with Darth Vader. However, despite being able to pump out a great deal more power from its engines than the standard TIE fighter, Vader's personal craft was not significantly faster. The additional mass was one factor in this, but a lot of energy also went into powering the shields and hyperdrive. Like the standard TIE, the Advance had no life support system, but this was no problem as Darth Vader carried his own with him. The shields, as well as the reinforced hull, gave Vader the edge he needed in combat. Although ultimately the Dark Lord failed to prevent the destruction of the first Death Star, the Advanced X1 allowed him to dispatch many rebels and survive an unexpected attack by Han Solo and the Millennium Falcon. Not only this, but it was the hyperdrive on the Advanced that allowed Darth Vader to escape the Yavin system, despite his ship's crippled wing and eventually return to the Empire. CNR fleet systems made a number of the TIE Advanced ships available for testing with the Empire, and later went into a very limited, very short-lived production run. Enough were constructed and deployed for them to be a favourite amongst elite units such as Storm Squadron, but the Empire chose to opt for the cheaper TIE Interceptor instead. Ultimately, the TIE Advanced became a deadly rarity in Imperial service. Now, whilst only slightly faster but less manoeuvrable than the TIE Interceptor, the Advanced X1 was still far quicker than the Alliance's X-Wings, and could also take punishment that no TIE could withstand, up to and including a collision with a wingman. This was due to the far tougher hull and the ship's experimental shield system, which could deflect solid objects and laser energy attacks using energy emitted from projector bars and stabilized by a field projected by a super magnet at the rear of the fighter. Outperformed opponents could be dispatched using the two powerful fixed-position heavy blaster cannons mounted on the front of the cockpit. TIE fighters already boasted superior tracking and targeting systems to those in the X-Wing fighter, but the systems in the TIE Advanced were better still. However, visibility for the pilot was not hugely improved in the TIE Advanced. This didn't change until the advent of the TIE Interceptor. The sublight engines were high-performance, paired SFS PS5.6 twin-ion models. Now, the TIE Advanced also came with a modest hyperdrive and a reasonable navigational computer capable of storing 10 sets of jump coordinates, the same jump numbers as an R2 astromech droid. The fighter systems were powered by SFS IS-3A solar ionization reactor, and the vital cells on the bent wing configuration solar panels were of a new generation that far outperformed those on the TIE Interceptor. Now, despite the significant advances offered by the X1, and despite its popularity with Imperial test pilots, CNR fleet systems never went into full production of the X1. Instead, the Imperials finally opted for the TIE Interceptor, which incorporated many of the advances first seen in the X1. The official reason was the high price of the Advanced, but cost was hardly a major problem to an organization that commissioned 2 Death Stars, not to mention the Super and Imperial II class Star Destroyers. In fact, it was the addition of shielding and particularly the hyperdrive that decided the fate of the TIE Advanced. Although the hyperdrive had saved the life of Lord Vader at Yavin, many Imperial strategists feared that a tougher, shielded, hyperspace-capable starfighter or cut down on the number of Star Destroyers they will be able to order. Admirals and captains like their ships big, so to put simply, this short-sighted decision probably saved the Alliance significant losses, if not the entire future of the Rebellion and the galaxy. And that is the TIE Advanced, or TIE Advanced X1. So if you like the video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and turn on notifications to keep up to date with my videos. Leave a comment or two, let me know what you thought of the video as well, and I'll talk to you all on the next one. Later.